going on?
Welcome to the SEC.
I know. Good.
How does it feel to be part of the SEC?
It feels awesome. Obviously, new conference for us, new teams we get to play. A lot of excitement going into the season, and me and the guys are super pumped up to play.
Jackson, you were at Manhattan Academy. Jalen Noah is a guy who's there. Did you get to know him at all, or what are your thoughts on him as a player?
Yeah, I did get to meet Jalen. I talked to him for a little bit, the air it out night, and I think he's a great dude. I think he's a great player too. Obviously, played very highly for them last year. Did a lot of great things for them, and I think I'll continue to do great things for them this year.
So much newness. You're new. You don't need to go through a coordinator and the whole deal, offensive line. How do you feel the newness factor is coming along and wanting to be ready for that first game, but certainly going into the SEC?
Yeah, we do have some new guys, but at the end of the day, we've all been grinding in the spring ball. We all went through spring ball. We've all been grinding in the off season this summer too, and we have some new guys, but these are guys that we got from the portal too that have experience elsewhere, and we don't have we have some guys that it's the first time playing, but we also have some guys that have played other places and will do big things for us.
Jackson, what was that experience at the Manhattan Academy like for you?
It was awesome. It was my first time going. Didn't know what to expect. Honestly, a little nervous going there just because I only knew Dylan Gabriel there, and we roomed together. But overall, learned a lot. Had a great time coaching the kids and beating all the other quarterbacks.
You guys have to reunite with Dylan and spend a few days with him after
for sure.
he left?
For sure.
Jackson, beyond the on-the-field requirements, what about the sort of off-the-field leadership that you need to lead a team like Oklahoma? Not just any team, but a team that expects to compete for championships. What would you need to do to prepare for that job?
I think my biggest part of leadership that I focused on this offseason was being a vocal leader, stepping up and through conditioning or working out or whatever, just being vocal for those guys and picking them up, and even if we're in huddles with each other, just kind of leading those guys, telling them how things and how we operate, and just kind of showing them the way things are done.
Jackson, what are you thinking about your first starting game at Texas OU?
It's going to be awesome. The environment last year was unbelievable. I've never been in a game like that before. I'm just walking out and seeing half of it orange and half of it red. It's really special, and I'm really excited to start in the game this year.
Jackson, you got the #1 running back in the country in the recruiting cycle last year, Taylor Tatum. Have you had the opportunity to kind of meet him yet? What kind of impact do you think he could bring to you guys for the next few years?
Yeah, for sure. Taylor's been with us for a couple months now. Got to meet him, as a player and even as a person too, and just sat down and talked to him, and I think the world of him. I think he's going to be big for us this season too.
Jackson, you talked about the preparation of being the guy going to this off-season, kind of what it's been like taking the reins officially.
It's been good. Obviously I had that start in the bowl game, and it wasn't. The results weren't as planned, obviously, but going into that game is a little different. Being QB1, all those guys had Dylan as their quarterback the whole year, and it was a little different. I almost felt like I was kind of taking DG's role from him last year. But going into this off season, it's been huge for me to build chemistry with those guys, and like I was saying with the leadership earlier, just being more of a vocal leader for those guys and really bonding with them and just kind of gelling as a team and as an offense.
What's it been like getting to know Branson Hickman this summer? Obviously, you guys will be spending a lot of time together on the field.
For sure. It's been good. Met him for the first time after our spring game and hung out with him that night, and from there just been building our connection. There's not a lot of team that we do in summer, obviously, but once fall camp starts, that connection will really ramp up.
When you have a guy like him that's been a 3-year starter and has played 3 snaps, is there a certain level of comfort that comes with it for you as a first-year starter yourself now?
Yeah, for sure. Just knowing that the guy snapping me the ball and basically controlling the O-line and has that experience is very comforting for me, and just I know that I can rely on a guy like that.
You have one of the most talented wide receiver groups in the country, arguably. What can you say about them and how they helped ease your transition into that starting role?
They're extremely special, and I think my biggest thing I could say about them is that it's a deep group. We don't have, we do have dudes, like we have our starters, but if any of our starters had to rotate out for some reason, I have full confidence in the people behind them that they can go out and catch a deep ball for a touchdown or just make the important plays that we need.
Jackson, how do you think the SEC away games are going to be different than the Big 12?
It's hard to say. I've only been in college for a year, but I mean, all those atmospheres. I grew up watching SEC ball, and just I know those atmospheres are different. Bigger stadiums, more capacity. Obviously, it's going to be louder when it comes to that too. And just for our guys, it's just big on focusing on ourselves and just not on the crowd noise or any outside factor for the
Jackson, when you went and looked at that Arizona tape, what did they do effectively against you? And then what did you learn from that game that maybe has helped you improve?
For Arizona, they did a great job mixing up some looks. Whether that's attacking, certain concepts that we run or recognizing certain concepts and jumping routes. They just did a great job scheming against us and game planning. Big props to them and their coaching staff. They played a great game. But for us, for me, it's the turnovers were unacceptable. You can't have that, especially not coming into the SEC, into this conference. That's something that I had to learn after watching the game and just studying the film, seeing what I did wrong, whether it's timing or even just a poor decision too, just kind of learning from it and just at the end of the day, you learn from it, you move on from it, and we're going to be prepared for the season.
Actually, speaking of SEC away games, your first one's at Auburn this season. How familiar are you with Auburn and Jordan-Hare Stadium, and what kind of challenge do you expect that game to pose for you guys?
Yeah, I've never been to the stadium before, but when I was at the Manny Passing Academy, I was talking to Carson Beck about it. He claimed the place was cursed. So, no, but I'm really excited. First SEC away game. I grew up watching Georgia-Auburn games on TV, so I know how special that stadium is. I've got friends that are Auburn fans, and they tell me about it all the time, so I'm super pumped up for that game.
Is there an SEC venue that you're looking forward to competing in?
If you play at Nye, I'd say Death Valley for sure.
What about your tight end game? It's been a big part of any offense. It's great. Last year, obviously, tailed off. Is Bo healthy, and how do you see the group?
I'm very confident in that tight end group. We've got a bunch of guys that can go, and dudes we got from the portal, that can go. Bauer and Jake Roberts and those guys. They're going to be huge for us this year. They're going to be very dynamic for us, be very good in the passing game, and also be very good in our run game too.
Jackson, you committed to Oklahoma in January of 2022. At that time, you knew Oklahoma was going to the SEC, but it was obviously quite a ways off. Being here, representing OU as the starting quarterback at SEC Media Days, and obviously being just a few weeks away from the season now, is this kind of the culmination of the vision that you had for yourself when you made the decision to commit to OU, the vision of leading them into the SEC?
For sure. Obviously, you never know how things are going to play out, but I always knew that I wanted to start for this school while we were playing in the SEC, and to see that actually come into fruition, it's really special.
Hey Jackson, Billy Bowman said in practice sometimes he'll tell the Geyer alums that he runs Denton. What is your response?
Hey, Billy did beat us my sophomore year. I wasn't playing, but when I was playing, we beat them. So leave it at that. Tell Caleb Hicks I said that too.
Jackson, a lot of talented quarterbacks in the Dallas area go to OU. What do you feel like is so appealing about OU to quarterbacks here?
Obviously, that great lineage we have. I mean, we got Heisman winners, Heisman finalists. We have a huge lineage of quarterbacks that have done great at OU, have produced, have put up great numbers, put up great stats, and alongside that too, for Dallas, like OU is only 2 hours away, 2.5 hours away, and for me, being close to my family and to my parents was a huge deal for me and a big part of my commitment to Oklahoma.
And speaking of that, have you gotten to work with Mike Hawkins at all? How has that been, if you have?
Yeah, I have. Mike's been here since spring. It's been great meeting him and just being around him and seeing how he operates, and we're just pushing each other to get better.
Jackson, with the NCAA kind of lifting restrictions on what analysts and stuff can do in terms of instructions, how helpful is it going to be having someone like Kevin Johns, like being able to help you out there at quarterback deal along with that?
Extremely helpful. Having it being lifted off is going to be monumental for our offense. We've got a bunch of guys in our O staff room that have been OCs before that are now with us and can input on the game plan, our coaching, on the way we run things. It's going to be very instrumental for us this year.
How ready are you to go out and prove it, against the SEC and everything?
Yeah, I'm excited. We're going to take it 1 week at a time, but I think me and the boys have been working hard this offseason, been grinding, and I'm super excited for the fall.
You guys have a lot of veterans on your defense. How's that helped you prepare for this season?
It's helped me prepare a lot. Those guys, obviously, going against them has been extremely difficult, but, iron sharpens iron, so I'm really appreciative for, those guys giving us their best in practices and any looks that we can get.
Jackson, Dylan was
known for doing the retreats in the summer. I think that you were a part of that last year. Are you planning to do something this summer? Have you done something, and what does that look like kind of?
Yeah, we actually had, instead of just doing offensive and defensive retreats separately, we had a team retreat this past weekend. We drove up to Kingfish, Oklahoma, shot some ski, played paintball, and just just really bonded with the guys.
Jackson, I know Jeff Levy obviously recruited you, and you have a really good relationship with him. What did you think of him as a coach, and what does he kind of mean to you?
Yeah, I love Coach Levy. Obviously, he was the OC I committed to, the coach I played for last year, besides the bowl game, obviously. But love Coach Levy. I wish the best for him at Mississippi State.
How do you think he's going to do as a head coach?
I think he's going to do great. He's a great coach, and on top of that, he's a great person too. I'm sure the coaches love working for him. I think he's going to build a great culture there.
Just curious what you've heard about Tiger Stadium and LSU and making a trip there.
Yeah, super pumped up. Like I say, it's the place I want to play at night. Never been there before, but I've heard great things. Obviously, it's known for being a super loud stadium, so I'm really excited.
Jackson, did you get any experience in the spring with the incumbent communications?
Yeah, we did, and it was special, knowing that that's what the NFL guys do, and just we didn't have that last year, and really transitioning into that this year was helpful for me in the spring and in the offense, because not only can coach the trail, tell me the plays and speed up the tempo, but he can also give me tips and reminders about maybe my read or certain coverages that we
was there an adjustment period and just kind of getting used to that?
Yeah, it was, because we obviously we looked at signals. We still do look at signals, but now I just honestly just stopped looking at the signals. I kind of just listen to Coach Latrell in my headset.
Piggybacking on that, how beneficial is it going to be to have the iPads on the sidelines this season to be able to see any of the stuff on video?
I did not know we had that. So yeah, that'll be huge this year. I was honestly wondering if we were going to be able to do that, but last year we had instead of being iPads, we had like a sheet read right down the coverages, ran on each play, and you can only envision so much when you're tired after a series. So having the iPad and really seeing it in real time is going to be super helpful for us.
Jackson, back to that retreat, just what was the thing you wanted to take most out of it, and what do you think that does for you guys?
I just wanted the guys to be around each other outside of our locker room. We're with each other majority of the day, and even hang out with each other outside the facility, but just getting everybody together and just really bonding with each other and doing things together just to kind of help build that chemistry in that team.
What do you think about playing Ole Miss this year? Obviously, a new SEC opponent having to go to Oxford. What do you think of that game?
Yeah, really excited for that game. They're a really good team. I met Jackson Dart a couple weeks ago too. He's a great dude. So I'm super excited to go out there and compete against him and his team, and also for Oxford. I love Oxford. I visited there a couple times when Coach Levy was there. I think it's a really unique place and a really cool stadium.
You mentioned the lineage of Oklahoma quarterbacks. What is that trying to live up to that standard? Because OU fans expect a lot from offense. Yeah,
there's a lot of pressure that comes with this position for sure. At the end of the day, I just got to go out and perform to the best of my abilities and hope that I will live up to that lineage.
Jackson, do you think Hornsdown should get penalized?
No, but I'm not going to get into that.
What's the best part about playing with Peyton and Eli, your Dyer teammates?
It's special. I lived with Peyton my freshman year. I live with Peyton now, and just having his little brother come up too is really special. Just knowing that there's also a comfortability factor to it too. You're with guys that you've played with in high school and grew close with in high school, and now you're with them in college. It's really it doesn't happen at very many places. So it's unique to see that me and Peyton are both thriving out of college, and Eli.
Jackson, how much growth and evolution have you witnessed from this Oklahoma defense throughout the offseason?
A lot of evolution. Those dudes are special, and it was huge having guys like Danny and Billy come back. Seriously, those are two of our leaders on our team, major leaders on our team and on our defense, and those dudes put up the most production last year too. And just having those guys back, and with their experience and their maturity, they've really helped take this defense to a next level, in my opinion.
Jackson, what makes OU a culture fit for the SEC?
I'd really say how passionate our fan base is and our school is about football. SEC is all about football. Their fans are all about football, and I think that OU is the same way.
How did the SEC play a role in your decision?
It was definitely a factor for sure. I really didn't base it off of us going to the SEC. I really focused more on the fit for me and the development for me and just kind of the environment that I wanted to be in, the culture I wanted to be a part of.
But it did make it even more enticing?
For sure.
What's it going to do for the Oklahoma brand, which is already huge in college football?
Yeah, it's going to boost that brand even more, especially when we start seeing success, hopefully this year in the SEC. It'll definitely boost that brand.
Jackson, how often do you think back to that first varsity start you had at Denton Guyer, and how does that compare to that game you had in Arizona? And what confidence does that instill in you?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. That's a great question. My freshman year in high school, I was thrown to the state championship game. I was like 5'10", like 170, and got destroyed. I don't even know if I had like 20 yards passing that game. But really, just looking at that game, it pushed me. It was a great deal of a great deal of adversity I had to overcome from that game, and just throughout my high school career. And just looking back on that, it really reminded me of the Arizona game this year. But just having that first experience, just I knew that I had to learn from that game, one, but two, just move past it, move on, and really focus on this next upcoming season.
Two more questions. Can you reiterate the confidence that you have in yourself, knowing that you had that game, but then emerged into what you became later?
Yeah, for sure. It definitely helps with the confidence, just knowing that I've been there before, I've done it, I've seen it. I mean, the Arizona game, obviously not the result we wanted, but just a great learning opportunity for me, and a great, just a great first game, first experience for me to get out of the way.
Obviously, every game in the SEC is going to be a huge one this season. Can you speak to the excitement around the Red River rivalry?
Can you ask that again, please?
I was just saying that obviously every game this season is going to be huge because we're in the SEC now. But can you speak to Red River rivalry with Texas and how excited you are about that this season?
Yeah, extremely excited. Obviously, it's a very special game, very special rivalry. I'd say it's probably the best in college football. That might be biased because we're Oklahoma, but seriously, it's a great atmosphere. Running out of that tunnel, it's second to none, and just hearing that crowd roar, it's really an unbelievable experience, and I'm super excited to start that game this year.
Jackson, you talked about how much of a learning experience that bowl game was. How much of a different quarterback do you think you are today than you were back then?
A lot different. I had a whole spring ball, whole almost summer to learn from that game and really apply the things that I learned into that offseason, into that spring ball. So I think whether it's timing, decisions, footwork, all of the above, I think I've improved dramatically as a player.
Thank you.